All right, let's jump right into it. Things in the Middle East have escalated and fast. In just the last few days, Iran has put its neighbors on notice with a pretty shocking warning. Today, we're going to break down what's happening and why Iran is now calling its neighboring Gulf countries legitimate targets.
Okay, so this isn't just talk, not by a long shot. We're talking about real attacks that have already hit. In what feels like the blink of an eye, several major Gulf nations, all of them key U.S. allies, have found themselves right in the middle of the chaos, under direct fire.
And look at the targets here. This isn't about some remote military outpost. We're seeing attacks on high-rise buildings, critical economic infrastructure in a global hub like Dubai, and even airports in Abu Dhabi. Hitting these major civilian centers, well, it's clearly meant to cause maximum disruption and get the world's attention.
So the big question is why? Now, you'd think a country might deny being involved in something like this, but Iran is doing the exact opposite. They are openly and very publicly justifying these attacks. So let's get into the specific reason they're giving.
I mean, it doesn't get much more direct than this. This quote from Iran's foreign minister is really the heart of the matter. It's not ambiguous at all. It's basically a formal declaration that, from their perspective, these neighboring countries are now fair game.
But here's where they try to thread a needle. The foreign minister says they are not at war with the regional countries, but in the same breath says those countries are targets. So what they're trying to do is make a distinction. They're arguing this isn't a broad war against the whole region, but a very specific targeted campaign against U.S. allies within it.
And the justification, it goes even deeper. To explain why these U.S. allies are suddenly in the crosshairs, Iran is pointing the finger squarely at Israel and the United States, pretty much casting themselves as the ones who were forced into this.
This quote right here really lays out their entire narrative. The argument is this: the U.S. started this whole thing, and it wasn't to defend itself, it was a war of choice fought for Israel. They completely reject the whole premise that Iran was ever a threat to begin with.
And then, the accusation gets even sharper. This statement basically says that any casualties from here on out, whether they're American or Iranian, are Israel's fault. It's an incredibly potent line, and it's designed to shift all moral responsibility for what's happening.
Of course, there's a completely different side to this story. To get the full picture, you have to look at the long-standing American position, which, as you can imagine, paints a totally different reality and contradicts everything Iran is saying. This really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's two completely separate realities. On one side, you have Iran saying the threat was just made up, and on the other, the U.S. has been saying for years that its actions were necessary because of the very real danger of Iran's nuclear program, a program they claim would threaten the world.
And this is the kind of language the U.S. has consistently used to frame the debate. By labeling Iran a rogue nation or a terrorist regime and constantly highlighting its nuclear ambitions, the U.S. has built its case for an aggressive posture in the region for a long, long time.
So let's bring it all together. What does this mean for right now, for the immediate future? Because what we have are two totally opposing stories fueling a conflict that is now spilling over into new countries.
Yeah, the way Iran is talking, this doesn't sound like a one-and-done thing. By calling U.S. allies legitimate targets, they're signaling that this is their new ongoing strategy. It suggests these attacks are going to continue as long as this bigger conflict with the U.S. and Israel keeps going.
And that leaves us with a pretty chilling final question. Now that Iran is openly declaring U.S. allies as fair game and promising more attacks, it feels like a line has been crossed. The question we're all left with is, does this new reality make a much wider, more devastating regional war all but inevitable?